Good morning everyone. Kami po ang magre-report patungkol po kay Carl Rogers. So, I am Chris Diwal Villegas and I will be the one to introduce to you the theory of Carl Rogers. So, for a little overview, no, si Carl Rogers po ay gumawa ng client-centered theory o mas kilala natin sa salitang person-centered theory. Ano nga ba ang person-centered theory at patungkol ito saan or sa ano? So, we will have our answer about these questions right after the report. So, first, I would like to remind everyone na meron po kaming napag-isipang activity. All throughout this video ay may sasabihin kaming name ng fruits and we would like to ask you to comment what kind of fruit have you heard. So, kahit ilang fruit po, it's up to you. It is only a test lang naman po. Sa huli ko rin naman po sasabihin ang reason ba't may mga prutas. So like other theories, no, dito sa theories of personality, si Rogers ay lumaki rin sa pamilya na relihiyoso at sila'y lumipat sa isang farm na kung saan isolated sila to the other people which helps their family to deepen the ties between them. But it will be explained further ni Miss Ashleha. So for my part, ito po ay ang overview of client-centered theory or tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina ay kilala bilang person-centered theory. So, Carl Rogers developed a humanistic theory of personality that grew out of his experiences as a practicing psychotherapist. Client-centered theory. So I researched about the definition of this one, and it states that this form of psychotherapy is grounded in the idea that people are inherently motivated toward achieving positive psychological functioning. And also, it is like a kind of therapy, a non-directive form of talk therapy where you act as an equal partner in the therapy process while your therapists remain non-directive. They don't pass judgment on your feelings or offer suggestions or solutions. So it is basically focused on the person itself. So if the person who has the feeling or the person who has the feeling, kaya siya tinawag na person-centered theory or person-centered, meaning focus siya sa iisang tao. Like many personality theorists, Rogers built his theory on the scaffold provided by experiences as a therapist. His personal preference was to be a helper of people and not a constructor of theories. So, basically, parang gusto niya lang tumulong sa mga taong may kailangan ng tulong. Kaya yung focus ng study niya or theory niya is by listening or helping an individual in ways that he can. Mango.
To understand kung saan ba nanggaling yung person-centered theory ni Carl Rogers, alamin muna natin yung pinagdaanan niya sa buhay and kung ano ba yung mga naka-influence sa pag-build niya ng theory. So, Carl Rogers was born in Oak Park, Illinois, sa USA. And when he was a kid, he was shy and sensitive and he lacked social skills. Pero, he was interested in scientific agriculture. So, ito na yung take care of plants and animals. Now, this aspect of his life na shy siya and wala masyado siyang social skills, important part ito ng naging theory niya later on. This time, nung nag-high school na siya, lumipat sila sa isang farm somewhere in Chicago kasi gusto ng parents niya na magkaroon ng religious atmosphere. And because doon sa farm na yon, konti lang yung mga tao and farm siya, so medyo isolated siya from others. So, naging close yung mga parents, magpa-parents doon sa, yung mga families doon sa neighborhood nila. Pero, kahit close yung mga parents ng families doon, hindi close yung mga anak nila. So, si Carl Rogers and other children doon, wala masyadong close bonds. Konti lang nga yung social skills ni Carl Rogers. Mas lalo pa siyang hindi nakapaghalibilo sa mga ka-neighbor niya doon. So, dahil dun sa isolated atmosphere nila doon sa farm, he spent most of his time reading the Bible and tending the plants and animals. So, para lumaki sila in a religious household. Now, Carl Rogers actually believed na his parents raised them to be, well, parang okay naman yung pagpapalaki daw sa kanila. However, he thinks that yung how they raise their children is more controlling. So, marami silang bagay or activities na hindi nila nagawa. Parang limited lang yung kaya nilang gawin. Halimbawa, hindi sila pwedeng mag-dance, hindi sila pwedeng maglaro ng cards, hindi sila pwedeng mag-join sa theater kasi medyo conservative sila yung household nila. So, throughout high school and into his college days, na-retain niya yung interest niya sa scientific agriculture. And he had this attitude towards farming that he has to provide sufficient and necessary conditions for plants and animals' growth. So, itong attitude niya towards farming noon, nadala niya ito hanggang sa psychology days niya. Nung nag-aral na siya sa University of Wisconsin, his focus shifted from agriculture to religion. Pero later on, nawala din itong focus niya sa religion kasi parang nag-doubt siya sa faith niya. And then, nung nag-take naman siya ng classes sa University, Columbia University, Teachers College, dito na nag-start na magka-interest siya sa psychology kasi nag-take siya ng psychology classes dito. So, ito na yung parang pushing factor ng kanyang psychology career. And after that, he worked in various institutions including being a professor sa ibang universities. And during this time, especially nung nasa Ohio University siya, dito niya na-develop yung kanyang person-centered theory. Jackfruit. And then, in 1924, he married his wife, Helen Elliott, and had 2 children. And around this time na kinasal sila, he actually overcame yung shyness niya from his childhood.
So, person-centered theory. Tinawag ito ni Rogers ng client-centered, person-centered, student-centered, group-centered, person-to-person, bago pa siya naging person-centered theory. So, ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng client-centered sa person-centered? Ang client-centered ay ginamit para i-label ang theory niya in therapy. While on the other hand, ang person-centered theory, ang label mismo o ang tawag mismo sa kanyang theory o Rogerian personality theory. So, tulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, ang theory na ito ay may halintulad sa therapy. Mango. So, para naman makapag-formulate ng theory, if ma-remember niyo yung mga salitang if, then, so of all the theories na napagdaanan natin dito ay sabi daw, mas malapit ang person-centered theory in meeting the standards of if, then. So, in this one, kay mas lalong nakafocus sa kung ganito ang mangyayari, ito ang magiging kinalabasan. Sa statement na iyon ay mas lalong malapit ang person-centered theory out of all the theories na natopic natin. Kasi let's say for example, if the client cries, then there's a possibility or possible reason why. If the client experiences severe depression, then the client will cry. So parang ganun yung yung if then statement na formula formulated theories are often started at if-then framework. Okay, so let's move on the basic assumptions. Rogers postulated two broad assumptions, the formative tendency and the actualizing tendency. So, under basic assumption, nakabuo si Rogers ng dalawa and are known as formative tendency and actualizing tendency. So first, we have the formative tendency for all matter, both organic and inorganic, to evolve from simpler to more complex forms. For the entire universe, a creative process rather than a disintegrative one is in operation. So basically, ang gusto lang sabihin nitong tendency na ito is that lahat ng bagay ay nanggaling daw sa mas simpleng bagay. So basically, yung mga things na medyo complicated i-understand o mahirap siya intindihin ay galing yun sila sa mga simpleng bagay na mas madaling intindihin. Let's say for instance, tulad ng sinabi ni Carl Rogers, complex galaxies of stars form from a less well-organized mass. And another one is crystals, such as snowflakes, emerge from formless vapor. And complex organisms develop from single cells, and human consciousness evolves from a primitive unconsciousness to a highly organized awareness. So basically, lahat ng mga bagay na complicated ay galing siya sa mga simple things or mga madaling intindihin. So, next, we have the actualizing tendency. It is a tendency within all humans and other animals and plants to move toward completion or fulfillment of potentials. This tendency is the only motive people possess. Berries. So, ibig sabihin lang nun is that there's an endless possibility for everything. So, everything does not stop. Everything is always moving with time. Hindi tumitigil ang mundo sa pag-ikot. Kaya ganun rin sa mga taong kagaya natin. We all have endless possibilities. So actualizing tendency or tendencies to maintain, to enhance the organism are subsumed within the actualizing tendency. The need for maintenance is similar to the lower steps on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, it includes such basic needs as food, air, and safety. So, para mabalance natin o ma-maintain ang actualizing tendency natin as humans, meron tayong tinatawag na maintenance, by which means para lang siyang sa hierarchy of needs ni Maslow. So, if you could remember, the need for food, air, and safety. Even though people have strong desire to maintain the status quo, they are willing to learn and change. This need to become more, to develop, and to achieve growth is called enhancement. And para ma-achieve natin yung growth sa actualizing tendency, kailangan natin ng enhancement. With the use of maintenance and enhancement, we grow and branch out some endless possibilities. Kasi yun ang mga kakayahan natin, di lang nakafocus sa isa. We can do anything. So the actualization tendency is not limited to humans. Other animals and every plants have an inherent tendency to grow towards their genetical potential, provided certain conditions are present.